Hello again, this is Vala Regattas. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Something we want to talk about, particularly if you have previously been a hand spindler and are now going to a great wheel, perhaps. Often we just need to think of that spindle on the great wheel as nothing but a horizontal hand spindle. We can adapt some of the techniques that we use for the hand spindle to the great wheel, definitely. One thing that we often forget that we might be able to use is the butterfly wind on with our hand. And if you've not perfected that, practice it. You'll love it. It is so helpful. Normally in a great wheel, I don't really advise going much past the hub for the draw. You might have seen that in some of the other videos, mainly because whenever you get out to here, you get yourself in trouble. It tends to tangle up, develop little tails, or you just are at a disadvantage for time and effect both to wind on. One of the things that you could learn to do to utilize with that longer, beautiful draw is the butterfly wind on, a temporary wind on your hand before you pull it on to the cop. I think this is going to be so helpful for so many, not only for the long draw that's longer than normal, it's fun to show off, but also in the event that, what if your band drops off? You've got this beautiful long draw, and it's so much of a problem to wind on. It gets tangled and it messes up and you get frustrated, and you're lucky to get it back onto the bottom, especially if your band drops off altogether. How are you going to get it onto that cop? So I'm going to reposition the camera, demonstrate what I mean. It's really a very simple technique. If you've not done it before, you really should learn to do it, not only for the great wheel, but for others spinning. It does come in handy. Okay, so I've drafted out roughly to the length of the hub. This is where we normally would draft it out. I'm going to go a little bit farther. And now we're just about to the length of the back of the wheel. I really find that difficult to wind on. It gets clumsy, but let me show you. Let's wind it and use the butterfly, however you feel most comfortable with it. You can use any number of fingers. There, I've wrapped it around my fingers. And depending on the position that you're in, you can use, again, your first or your third finger, or I should say your pinky or your third finger. I'm still hanging on to the fluff with my thumb and forefinger. But watch how much easier that is to wind on now that I have a draw or a make that is just too long. So we'll back it up, release the tension, and let's wind it on from my butterfly. Let's try that again. So here I'm going to draw out. I don't know that it's really time saving as far as to do that repeatedly, but it will bail you out in the event of certain events. So now let me wrap that around again. And there I've butterflied it around my fingers. I've not dropped the fiber in between my thumb and my index finger. And now I can wind it on and just let it drop out of the butterfly. That is really a useful technique that's a carryover from hand spindling. And I think that's something that you might be able to adapt to save you in some of those draws that are just a little awkward, or in the event you drop your band. So I thank you for watching me once again. Hopefully we can get back to some of the basics now and then. So happy spinning.